Welcome to the Del Walmsley Radio Show. Del challenges the status quo, questions everything, and empowers you to return to your core beliefs to make your life better. If you're ready to hear the truth and get your roadmap to the lifestyle you really want, the next hour will change your life. And now, your host, self-made millionaire, national award-winning investor of the year, CEO and founder of Lifestyles Unlimited, Del Walmsley.
Welcome to the Del Walmsley Radio Show, where the hype ends and the help begins. Proudly sitting in for Del. My name is Al Gordon, and I'll tell you what, we're going to have a great time today because I have a Lifestyles Unlimited fellow member on the show today. He lives in Southern California, and he has made an informed decision to change his life. He wanted to get away from what he was doing and transition into what we as members of Lifestyles Unlimited are doing to make a different lifestyle for ourselves. And so what we're going to do is we're going to get into the nitty-gritty with Ken. We're going to understand why he made the decision to join Lifestyles Unlimited and what he is doing to change the path that he is currently on, or I should say the path that he used to be on, because he's already making significant changes in his life. And that's going to translate into an excellent opportunity for his family in the future. Hey, Ken, are you there?
Thanks for having me.
It is a pleasure to have you on the show. So tell me, Ken, give me the background. Why did you make a decision to stop doing what you were doing to become a member of Lifestyles Unlimited?
You know, I work with a close friend on my W-2 role, and he's been a member of Lifestyles for a number of years, and he knows that I've been interested in real estate for a while and was looking for the right path in real estate. You know, there's a lot of different options, from flipping to real estate sales, etc. And he started showing me some information on Lifestyles, and then what really got my attention was he was showing me the mailbox money that he was getting and his cash out refis. And when someone shows you, a check for $175,000 or $200,000, and they put in $100,000, you're kind of like, how long did it take to get that? 2 years or whatever it was, and that starts really getting you to think a little bit differently about what your future could be like.
So when he was showing you those checks, was he kind of bragging, or was he trying to help you understand that there was a different path you could follow?
More different path for sure, not bragging in any stretch. He knows that I have, the ambitious goals, I guess, in life, and would like to have a very nice retirement plan and path. And so he was pointing out that, here's an alternative that you might want to look at as part of this group. And so that's what got me interested. And then, we talked more, and it took me a while to catch on. And then I took the short one day class, and then the two-day session and with Dave Fisher, and was kind of hooked at that point.
So what had you been doing up to that point to set yourself up for retirement?
So I've done a number of things. I kind of went down the path that for most of us are taught, right, which is go get a good education. I have a double E degree and an MBA. And then go get a good job. I did the corporate thing for many years, was vice president of a number of companies in sales and marketing. And the good news from that was that sales allows you to chunk, basically, where you can get a good cash infusion a couple times a year, typically. So that was really, really helpful in building a nest egg. But, at some point, if you're not getting that passive income, that cash flow is going to end. You're going to leave that role, and you need something that's going to provide that passive income. And this seemed like the best thing. I had left the corporate world many years ago and started my own company. I went to Paris and became a world-class chocolatier. I used to have celebrities eat my chocolate in Manhattan, and grew that business. But one of the challenges with doing something like that was that it's really hard to find partners and investors. And that's one of the things that really attracted me, I think, to Lifestyles is you have a network. You can build your team very easily. There's people that are just all supportive of you. It's just amazing how supportive the group is. And so as you build your team from the readily available people, you can grow much faster and you can create a life. At least for me, I see a life that is unlimited, going forward, which would be better than the good life I have, but I think it'll be a much better, it'll be a great life when I finally decide to leave the W-2 world.
So were you putting money aside into things like 401ks or IRAs or other types of assets that didn't include real estate? Yeah,
so I, for many years, put money into, the 401k and IRA path for sure. I built that up, and, the challenges with that is the vagaries of the stock market, right? You get crushed, and sometimes you do exceptionally well. And I guess if you hold it long enough, perhaps that all works out for you. But I'd seen that go up and down quite a bit, and also just from the corporate world perspective, you never know when your last day potentially is, right? Someone else gets to make that decision for you, perhaps, and that doesn't seem like a good position to be in. It's better to control your own destiny, I think.
Yeah, I'd agree with you 100% there. I mean, the fact that when working for someone else, your destiny isn't necessarily in your own hands. Even, like you said, when you were a chocolatier, which, by the way, I've got to ask you some questions about that because my mind just went way off on a tangent. But I think it can be a challenge knowing that if you don't find the right people to invest in your concept may go nowhere really fast.
Yeah, I mean, I went out and looked for investors, and it's hard when you don't kind of have a network already set up to do that. And more importantly, trying to find management help as well to grow the company. And if you don't have enough funds to pay those people, you need high-quality people, and high-quality people cost money. So if you don't have those funds available, it really limits you. And from a small town in Northern California, I got national recognition, but it became clear that probably was not going to give me what I ultimately wanted. And I went back to the W-2 world again to pile up some more money. And then Lifestyles was presented to me, and I can't imagine any other path at this point, really. This is working and buying properties and adding to my portfolio personally and looking to add as a lead as well going forward.
So prior to joining, did you own some real estate assets?
Yeah, so I have I have 7 properties today. I had 3 coming into it. Mix of things. I'm working on selling those off. I have a commercial building in Northern California that's frankly got more capital tied up than I can even bear to mention. And it's not possible to refi. Banks won't refi them now in this economy. So, I've got that one for sale, and hopefully someday soon it will get picked up here. And that's going to free up some cash to go and put into more passive deals as well as some smaller multifamily deals of my own. And then we've got some single families as well that are one of them's currently for sale, and another one that's just finishing rehab in San Antonio.
So now, are all of these properties you picked up before you became a member, or have you been picking up properties since joining?
So I bought, 3 of them were ones that I owned before joining. And I have to say I bought them for different reasons than I would buy them today. And then the 4 cents I picked up, as part of Lifestyles. Duplex, and a couple single families. Even decided to acquire a single family and rehab it remotely in San Antonio during COVID, which is it's been good. Some challenges with doing that, but overall it's good. It's going to make good money for me, so I'm happy to have done that as well.
Pretty interesting stuff, Ken. I'll tell you what, we're going to break, and when we come back, we're going to get back inside of Ken's mind and understand what's really going on in there. Stick around.
Welcome back. Now here's some more unconventional wisdom to set you free from the man on a mission to retire America, one person at a time, Del Walmsley.
Well, it's not Del, it's Al Gordon sitting in for Del, but we're still having a great time, and I have Ken on the show today. Ken is a real estate investor, and he's a member of Lifestyles Unlimited, and along the way, he was doing what everybody else does. I mean, he went to school. I'm assuming you got good grades, Ken. We'll just say you did. And he got into corporate America and started working for the man. He spent some time doing that, and he found a path into being self-employed. He wanted to own his own businesses. But along the way, he met a gentleman by the name of Jerry, who's also a Lifestyles Unlimited member, who said, there's a different way. And it's a way that I've been following for a while, and you ought to go check it out. So Ken listened to Jerry, and he came to Lifestyles Unlimited, and he sat through what we call our free workshop, also known as our one day. Ken, tell me what went on during that one-day event. What is it that caught your attention that made you become a member of Lifestyles Unlimited?
The biggest thing, I think, from the one day is that you could take a relatively small amount of money and turn that into enough cash flow to replace your at least, depending on where you are in your W-2 salary, at least give you a pretty good cash flow that you could live on. May or may not replace your full W-2 depending on where you are with that. But I saw that, in theory, I could have gone out with the money I had and bought 30 single-family properties and create enough monthly cash flow to live on fairly well. I mean, $10,000 to $20,000 you could probably do with 30 properties, something like that. $500 a piece cash flow and 30 properties. What's that? 15,000 roughly. So that kind of really caught my attention. And then I met actually another person that is a Lifestyles member out of San Antonio and Dallas that has 30 plus properties, single families, and didn't go the multifamily route. So listening to that in the class and seeing that was a possibility, that really sparked my interest to go to the 2-day, and then once you see the multifamily stuff, you kind of go, oh, that's where the action really is.
Yeah, it's definitely a game changer. It's one of those things where you go, you mean I could do that? I'm not like uber rich, but I can do that. And they look you straight in the eye and they say, yes, you can do that too. I mean, that's kind of a liberating feeling, isn't it? I
can't tell you how liberating that is. Just
keep it clean. Just keep it clean. That's all I ask.
I'm a little verklempt here. Yeah, I mean, when you look at the numbers and you say, because I have bought properties that I bought before Lifestyles, I have frankly more money in them, and it's been a challenge getting it out. So that's why I'm trying to sell them and redeploy that. My whole thing from the short class and then the 2-day is return on net worth. Where's your net worth today, and how are you going to get it higher? And from a dollar perspective, but also from the returns. And when I looked at the numbers, I think that's one of the things they ask in the class: what's your net worth and what's your return? And the good news is my return was okay, but it's not what it is today. Today it's radically improved, and knowing that you could replace your income just from single families by buying them right, rehabbing them right, renting them, or move into smaller multifamilies or larger ones, depending on your net worth. And that just lit me on fire, I would say.
Let me talk to you a little bit about that commercial building that you bought a long time ago. And it's not to pick on you, but it's really because I want to help everybody listening to us understand that they may be invested in real estate and they may not fully understand the rationale for it. Unlike you and I that, have figured out what right looks like, and we've changed the direction of our lives and we're doing things in a much different way. But why that particular commercial building at that time?
Well, Let me back up a little bit. So we're all told the mantra of what I said before, right? Education, get the job, etc. And then here's your traditional finance things that you should do, 401k, blah blah blah. And in that interim, after I left being a chocolatier, I actually passed the Series 65 license, and for a while was a financial advisor in San Francisco. And frankly, I had to stop doing that because I felt it just was unethical in my mind to tell people to do some of these things. And so I had to stop doing that and knew that there must be a better path. And so in this commercial building, I listened to some family members about if you're going to have a business, you control that asset where your business is by buying it and then, pay it down and, all of those things that we've all heard and that frankly are just simply wrong. And so, I have a building that's got quite a bit of equity in it, can't refinance it. In fact, I've tried multiple times and just really can't get anything out of it. So the goal was that I would have my business in it, which I did for a while, and that was fine. It would have been cheaper just to lease it, but I could have gotten kicked out conceivably. So that was the rationale for buying it. And then what I was able to do, though, fortunately, was get creative enough, and I think that's, for me, the key in real estate is getting creative, because you can take something that's kind of a sour egg and turn it around. And in this case, I was able to start leasing it out to people that were food manufacturers or startup food manufacturers. And coincidentally, they're willing to pay a pretty fair price for a building. So I'm getting good cash flow on it, but I'm not getting good return on my equity. And that's the problem. So the money that I get from a monthly cash flow is good, but and that really contributes to the $60,000+ a year I have in net cash flow from rentals. But the return on that equity is not very high, and that's why I need to get the money out and deploy it, because I can put $15,000, $10,000 into a house and double that money with just by buying it right and rehabbing it. So that's the plan. Is in fact, I got a call yesterday by an agent who wants to buy it herself. So I'm fingers crossed that deal can perhaps move forward. So the strategy isn't to have a bunch of money sitting in a commercial building and have it paid off and live on the cash flow from a paid off building. That's not the way to do it. Not the lifestyle's way, and it doesn't give you much return on your equity, which is the thing you need.
Yeah, I agree with you. Having all that, what we call debt equity sitting in one property is, well, it's kind of like holding you prisoner, and it keeps you from doing the things that you're trying to accomplish in your life. When we come back from the break, we're going to talk to him more about his investing strategy. Stick around.
Welcome back. Now here's some more unconventional wisdom to set you free from the man on a mission to retire America, one person at a time, Del Walmsley.
Well, it's not Del, it's Al Gordon sitting in for Del. And I'll tell you what, we're having a great time today because we're having a conversation with Ken. Ken is a Lifestyles Unlimited member. He lives in the great state of California. And he became a member of Lifestyles Unlimited because a friend of his told him that he ought to take a look. And Ken did just that. And I'll tell you what, he caught the bug. He realized that by correctly investing into real estate assets, he could make a significant difference in his life. So he has been doing that, and he's been doing a great job of it. So Ken, tell me about that first property that you acquired after going through the Financial Freedom Education Program, which is the program all of us go through. What did you buy?
So the first one I bought was a duplex in Dallas-Fort Worth. It was built in like 1973 or 75, something like that. And, buying it right was important, getting the right financing and then getting it rehab. That was a fun process, get it fixed up so it's best product, best price, and getting some tenants in that thing. And I leased it from remotely, so I didn't even have a property manager to lease it. And the thing's been cash flowing now for a year plus, and this is fantastic. I really enjoy doing this, and it's a lot of fun to buy stuff and see it progress and get it leased out and get that check deposited electronically and in your account every month.
Now, there are people listening to us right now that are absolutely confused because I told them that you live in Southern California, and you just told them that the first one you bought, was in Dallas. How did you pull all of that off? I mean, were you in Dallas like every day? How did you get this done?
So this one was not through a lifestyles agent, but another property that I bought since was through a lifestyles email blast. But this one was from an agent that I know in Dallas. And she helped me find it, and she went out and looked at the property for me. I think we did a video tour. She held up her phone, and, we walked through. And I said, yeah, okay, it looks good. And signed the papers, for the offer, and then had it inspected. So we already had an inspector set up. And then we had contractors come out and bid on the rehab, and all the numbers looked good. I reran the numbers and said, yeah, it looks like I can make money on this. And this would be the expected, return on equity and stuff and cash on cash. So we pulled the trigger and closed. And then I actually just went online and found ways to lease property and advertise them, online, and screened people and got tenants. I had not met any of the tenants, and I did it all remotely. So, you don't have to be there. I actually did fly on this one to see the property right before I closed, but two other properties I have not. I didn't even go visit the property. So you can do it remotely if you have an agent. It's helpful, and it's a lot of fun, and you don't have to travel. So you can do it still during shutdown like we're in now.
Yeah, the COVID-19 shutdown. And I think you mentioned to me that California is going back into a lockdown?
Today. Yeah, they put it back in the lowest level. So gyms and I think restaurants and everything are now closed again. So it's still 2020. I can't wait for next year.
Yeah, no kidding. I know it's been an absolutely nuts year. But I think it's very important for us to point out that you were able to acquire real estate, you're able to build your team and put people on that team that you had trust and respect for. And those people that you put on that team worked extremely well for you.
Absolutely. In fact, so I have I guess another story as well. So I have a house in San Antonio that I acquired. It was actually, Lifestyles has realtors that will send out email blasts of properties that are available with some analysis, right? And so I looked at that analysis, said, sounds good. I looked at the property pictures and went ahead and made the offer, got it accepted, and bought it. So it's under rehab. I did not see the house at all, didn't visit the property. It was in really bad shape. I got it for $80,000. And it just refinanced appraised for $185,000, and I have $55,000 in it, so 80 plus 55, 135, and it appraised for $185,000, and it should rent for like $1,425. So it turned out to be a really great deal. It's fun, beautiful house now, and it's proof again that you don't have to be there. This time I'm hiring a property manager to help me rent it just to make it a little bit easier because there's enough cash in the deal to do that. But yeah, a lot of people say you have to be there. Yeah. In fact, this agent that I talked to about buying my commercial property says, "Oh no, I want to buy local. I need to be there and all that." I said, "Okay, well, I've got some property in Texas if you're interested." So, "Oh no, don't want to do that." So there's no reason not to buy from wherever you are. I think the Lifestyles motto is invest where it makes sense or where the deals are good and live where you want. And that's working well for me. I couldn't be happier.
Yeah, I would think so. It sounds like you captured about $50,000 worth of equity on that property in San Antonio.
Yeah, it's turning out to be, frankly, it's a better deal than I thought. So I'm quite happy. Looking for another one here as well, probably a smaller multifamily in San Antonio, like a five unit or something like that needs complete rehab, which I think would be a fun project to do, and I'm gonna do it remotely. No reason not to just roll that money into another deal.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, you've pretty much broken the mold, so to speak. So you know how to do it. You know how to do it effectively. Tell me, how important was mentoring to you during this entire process?
Big, really, really big. Because not the deals don't go. Everything doesn't go just perfectly, right? So there's always something, either when you're buying it with the seller or you have tenants, et cetera. So there are challenges that you just work through. And so being able to pick up the phone and talk to people first about the deal, just walking through, does this, look as good as I think it looks? And then, getting input on rehab and then leasing, et cetera. So that, having a team of people that have done this before, either that are, as part of the Lifestyles mentoring team, the single family mentors, I've reached out to them, Joe Flores for one, and a few others. So that's been really helpful as well on the side of just from an operational perspective. If you have an issue with a tenant or something like that, you want to be able to call someone that has experience in the Lifestyles operations team, Terry and Teresa, just a phone call away. Call them and, hey, kind of this is going on at this property. What do you think? What's your suggestion? And they're like, oh yeah, no problem. Here's our recommendation, and then there you go, and the problem solved. So nothing's insurmountable. And as I think Dell says, real estate's easy. People are challenging. So having these mentors help you with the people side is super important.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% there. Let me kind of ask kind of a cerebral question. I'm not sure I can even get my brain around this. Let's see where it goes. With the investments you've made since becoming a member, are you seeing significant differences between how you invest now and how you used to invest in real estate?
100%. I mean, I'm buying them better. So, the goal is to make your money going in, right? So the properties that I've bought since becoming a Lifestyle member have been bought better, and I've used, better financing, in terms of using hard money to acquire.
Hold that thought, Ken. We're going to break, and we'll be back right after this.
Sounds good.
My friends, how many of you out there right now believe you have a plan? I followed the conventional plan for years, and then the conventional plan blew up in my face. I wonder how many of you can relate to that exact same thing. The real question is, how many of you have actually figured out how to turn that thing around and make it happen?
Do you have a plan? Lifestyles Unlimited has one for you. It's worked for countless others. Retire in 5 years or less. Come learn more. Join us for our live online workshop. Register at lifestylesunlimitedworkshop.com.
Welcome back. Now here's some more unconventional wisdom to set you free from the man on a mission to retire America, one person at a time, Del Walmsley.
Welcome back to the show. Hey, this is Al Gordon sitting in for Del Walmsley, and I'm having a good time with Ken because, it's what you don't get to hear when you're listening to the commercial breaks is the opportunity that I have with the guest to just talk about anything that we want. And we were just kind of talking about the fact that the gentleman that taught both of us what we call the 2-day financial freedom seminar, his name is David Fisher. First of all, the guy is he's a riot. He's really a riot, and he's got just like a crazy, wicked sense of humor. But the neat thing about David Fisher is that this guy knows exactly what he's doing. He had basically, Del Walmsley was his personal mentor. He also took the 2-day financial freedom seminar from Del Walmsley, and he studied the content so much so that David has done an outstanding job of building up his real estate investment portfolio. And to kind of get to the point that Ken and I were joking about at the break, we have both been to one of David Fisher's properties, and it's actually a property that he's using to provide the 2-day financial freedom seminar from, because he owns the property, he's kind of rehabbing it, and he's kept one of the units vacant specifically so that he can use it as a studio. So Ken and I have both been to that property, and we both had a similar experience. We were kind of joking because neither one of us thought we had gotten to the right location. And Ken, what were you telling me about? You texted him and said, "Hey, is this the property?" And you were showing this beautiful multifamily property across the street. And what did David say?
So I looked on Google for the address, and I saw the picture came up for his property. I'm like, well, that doesn't look like a multifamily property. So I turned the Google picture around to the property across the street, the multifamily, and I sent it to him, and he goes, "No, it's the piece of crap across the street."
And ironically, that's kind of how that property looked when David picked it up. Because, one of the things that we learn as Lifestyles members is you have to see past what you're looking at. You have to look at the potential that the property can provide. And you also have to have a realization in your brain that you know how to turn that property around and create a beautiful place for somebody to live. Now, Ken, I think that's the model you've been following, is it not?
That's the model I'm following, and I'm trying to get even more on the path of Dave, where Dave's buying these multifamilies that, as he calls them, he likes to find property that their teeth are a little bit not only a little bit crooked, they have missing teeth, their nose is really crooked, and the property really needs some help. And so that's my goal in 2021 is to find some of those as well, and do a little bit more on Dave's side, which is to find these really ugly properties that are just totally distressed and bring them back to life and have a vision for them, right? He's got a great vision on these things. That he turned that property, when I drove up, I was like, wow, this looks really good. What an awesome job you did.
You and I have both seen the interiors, and I'll tell you what, the interiors don't look anything like what the exterior looked like.
Oh yeah, the interiors are. He's got a model for what the interiors look like on his properties, and it's great. In fact, I'm kind of replicating the same thing, same stonemason gray interiors. He does red doors. I actually did a bright blue door on my last property. It'd be a little bit different, but you kind of create a template, right? And then you just go out and replicate it. No need to change a whole lot. Don't get super creative, and just follow the model. Lifestyles is a map, and just follow the map. It really can't be much easier. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to think a whole lot about doing stuff different. Just follow the map that's in front of you, and it'll work. As you go to these group meetings and stuff like that, that's the biggest takeaway for me. Maybe is that getting on either webinars now or when we can meet live is just to meet the other people in the group and hear their experiences. Some people are starting out. Some have been doing this for 8-10 years and are just crushing it. And you're like, oh, wow, okay. I'll just keep following the plan and have fun doing it, right?
Absolutely. What is it like? I mean, what's your personal experience talking with somebody who's done this already and being able to tap into their thought process?
So I talk to people that have done a lot of single families. I've talked to people that do multifamilies for their own acquisitions and rehab, and I've talked to people that are buying them as syndicators as well. And just being able to talk to a couple people and get all their different stories and what did they not do right, what did they do right, did they follow the plan? I mean, there's just so many different paths that at some point you have to pick what is your own path. But just being able to call these people or email them and ask questions is that, for me, that was worth the admission entry fee right there. Just to have that. It's just a wonderful group of people. Quite frankly, I couldn't be happier.
Yeah, it's pretty cool that you can have a one-on-one conversation with another member, and they're willing to share everything.
When you're just saying, hey, is this a good area? What do you think of the area? To, does this deal look like it makes sense? To, hey, I'm looking for a new lender. Who are you using? And what is that property you have cash flowing? What's the cash flow on that? And et cetera. And everyone shares, because, we have this abundance mentality, which is key. No one's keeping things secret. People's like, hey, my net worth's X. Theirs might be higher than yours. It could be lower than yours. And it just helps set the stage for where they are and where you are. And then that helps the conversation. You wouldn't get that outside of the group. I mean, historically, I have not had that. So,
well, Ken, we're at the end of the show, and I want to thank you for coming on. And if you want to change your life out there, go to freeworkshop.livestream.com.
The Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show is for entertainment purposes only. Please consult a professional regarding your personal investment needs. Nothing presented on the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show constitutes an endorsement, recommendation, offer, or solicitation to buy or sell any product or security.